To multiply mixed numbers, the only thing you have to remember is you have to add one more step, and that's step number 1. We're going to convert any mixed number and whole numbers. We're going to convert them to improper fractions. And we kind of already saw this right here when we put that whole number over 1. But we haven't talked about how to convert mixed numbers to improper fractions. So let's talk about that right now. 4 2/3. If I want to change that to improper fraction, I need to do one of 3 things. All around the world means that if you have 4 2/3, all you really want to do is you want to draw an arrow that goes all the way around the world. That's what it really means. That means that you're going to start here at the 3 and you're going to multiply the 3, that denominator times the whole number. Then you're going to add the numerator. So 3 times 4 is going to give me 12, plus 2 gives me 14. 14 over. Now we have an improper fraction. That's it. That easy. Okay, so you can remember all around the world. Now this other one, popcorn, this is one of my favorites because you can actually draw popcorn. So you have 4 and 2/3. This means is start here at the 3 at the denominator, and you go and you multiply times the numerator, times the whole number, then times the numerator, and then you close it, and it kind of looks like a popcorn, right? So that's why I like this one. But it's still the same process. You still multiply 3 times 4. 4 is 12 plus 2 is 14. Up with 14 over 3. Same thing as we got. In Texas, it's even a little bit more simpler. You don't have to draw anything around there. All you have to do is look at the numbers and look at the 2 operations that you're doing. For example, Texas. Texas is a T and an X. If I know I'm gonna add over here on the top, and if I know I'm gonna multiply right here on the bottom, that little plus sign that looks like a T, and this multiplication symbol that looks like an X. So that's why we call it Texas, TX. You're multiplying the 3 times the 4 plus 2, and that's still gonna give you the same answer as we had before, which was 14 over 3. So same answer, same improper fraction, same method, except I'm going to put this 4 over 1, because remember we have to change the whole number into an improper fraction. 4 divided by 1 is the same thing as 4. 3 times 4 is 12, and 5 times 1 is 5. Improper fraction, change it to mixed number by division. 5 cannot go into 1, but I know 5 goes into 12 twice. 5 times 2 is 10, remainder 2. So now I write my whole number and my fraction. This is my whole number, numerator. Final answer is 2 and 2/5. Not reduce anymore. Now let's look at this one right here. We have 2 mixed numbers. I have to change them. I'm going to use Texas or all around the world or popcorn. Okay, I'm going to use Texas on this one. 3 times 2 is 6, and then if I add 1, that gives me 7. So I end up with 7/3. Times, I'm going to do the same here, Texas, and 5 times 4 is 20, plus 4 is 24. Notice that I'm keeping the same denominator. This 3 is still a 3 right here, and this 5 is still a 5 right there. Okay, so the only thing that I'm doing when I'm multiplying times the whole number and then adding the numerator is I'm finding my new numerator. Okay, so now to finish my answer, all I have to do is multiply my numbers. 3 times 5 gives me 15, and 7 times 24, I have no idea. Over here on the side. 7 times 4 is 28, carry the 2. 7 times 2 is 14, plus the 2 that I carried, 168. Careful, improper fraction. Careful, we're not done. We have to simplify. This 3 can be divided by 3, and this 15 can also be divided by 3. So my final answer is going to be that 11, that whole number, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So my final answer is 11 and 1/5. So this one had all the steps. You had to change the mixed numbers to improper fractions. You multiply the numerator times the numerator, the denominator times the denominator. You ended up with an improper fraction. So you had to divide. And once you divide it, you ended up with a mixed number, 11 and 3/15. And then you also had to simplify by dividing top and bottom by 3. Okay, so now it's your turn to do this one. That's yours. And also this one. Make sure you do those two. If you have any questions, we can talk about them in class. Here's another one you can do here. And remember to look at the keywords. The keywords are of. So this is 4/5 of them. And we're talking about the 7th graders. So this is the number that you will multiply. Fifth, and you will multiply. I want to know how many 7th graders were there if 4/5 of them went to the fair. Try those two and you got your answer. Here's where you want to pay attention right here. Model multiplication of fractions, you have to do these 3 steps. First step is to draw and shade first fraction. Matters how you do it. So this is I'm going to go really slow so you can understand how to do this one, okay? So I'm going to draw first fraction, 1/2. The way I draw that is the bottom number, whoops, let me choose. Bottom number right here, total number of parts. That means I have 2 parts. Okay, so, and I'm going to do this horizontally. Horizontally means side to side, kind of like the x-axis on the coordinate grid. It's like the horizon. It goes from left to right. So I'm going to cut this rectangle right here, left to right, and that gives me 2 parts. That's what I needed, 2 parts. Top number gives me, or tells me, how many of those parts are going to be shaded. Okay, so shaded parts, I guess I can write. That's what the top number means. So I have one part that's going to be shaded, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to shade red, since I highlighted this fraction red. I recommend you do this with a highlighter. It goes a lot faster than if you use your pencil, crayon, or even a marker would work. Alright, so that's it. That's step number 1. Draw it. We drew it whenever we cut it here in half, and then we shade it in the first fraction horizontally. Now we're going to do the same thing to the second fraction. And the second fraction is going to be drawn vertically. That means up and down. So again, this 3 tells me the total number of parts. I need to have 3 parts, and when I have to split it down up and down. So that means that I'm going to draw 2 lines. And if I draw 2 lines, that's going to give me my 2 parts. Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead and box them in if you want to. 1 part, parts. Sometimes it's easier to see if you actually box it in. 1, 2, 3 parts. Now, according to my problem, according to this problem right here, whoops, I have 2/3, and the 2 is the number of parts that's going to be shaded. So that means I need to shade 2 of those parts. Shade 2 parts using my highlighter. Actually, class tomorrow we are going to do this with, then we're going to use a highlighter. class, you know what you're talking about. Okay, and the product, which in other words the answer to the multiplication, is how many parts are double shaded. Okay, so let's look at how many parts were double shaded. We had two parts that were double shaded. Out of how many? Out of one, two, three, 4, 5, 6. 6 total parts, but only this part and that part were double shaded. So my answer is 2 that were double shaded out of 6. And that's it, that's my answer. Now, I do want to fraction. Last final answer would be, okay? But that's how you model it. Now, this step right here that I did in red, that's not going to be shown in the model itself. This is just if I ask you what's the number, what's the actual answer reduced all the way down. I was showing you. But don't worry about that right now because I want you to model it. And when you model it, you don't need to use. Okay? Fraction is being modeled. And in this case, we have 2 out of 6s, out of 6 parts, so we have 2 6. We're going to do one more and then you're on your own. Up one here. Again, the first fraction shaded, and I'm going to draw it horizontal. Horizon where the sun sets. 3 parts total. So I'm going to draw one of them shaded. It's 1/3. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to shade last thing I'm going to do, other one, the same parts. So if I'm parts, that means I need 4 parts. So that again, 4 parts, right? Well, I do. So anytime that you want to know how many lines you have to draw to get the number of parts that you, always going to be one less. Here I needed 4 parts and I only drew 3 lines. I have my 4 parts and I need to shade in 3 of them. Kind of already see what's happening. Parts are going to be double shaded. That's going to be my answer. How many double shaded out of, I have 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 12 parts total. Double shaded. Again, if I'm modeling, I'm not going to simplify. Exactly what fraction is being modeled. Here, the fraction that's being modeled is 3 double shaded out of 12 pieces. So that's it. That's all I'm going to do with you. I do want you to go ahead and finish this bottom by yourself, and then there's 3 more in the back of this page. Plenty of practice on how to do it. Find this video and watch it again. Slow it down, push pause, take down some notes, rewind it again, do whatever you need to do so you understand how to do this multiplication of fractions, mixed numbers, and also how to model them. We're going to be like this tomorrow in class. So make sure you're prepared. Okay, thank you.